So apparently, the Daily Wire has a gag order against Candace Owens.
Almost seems like they're losing a little bit of credibility or what they stand for simply because they're always preaching that they are for free speech and they're always preaching about, oh, we're anti cancel culture. But as soon as one of their own says something or doesn't say something or doesn't say what they want them to say or says something they don't completely agree with, now look at what happened.
So apparently, the Daily Wire has a gag order against Candace Owens, even though they're supposed to be doing a debate at some point. Now, Jeremy Boring states this isn't true, but who knows if he's lying or not. And Candace Owens has reached out to comment about this, and she said she can't comment on it. Apparently, the gag order bars Owens from making any comments that could disparage Daily Wire perceived as harming its reputation. An arbitrator agreed that Daily Wire's contention that Owens' social media posts on X challenging Shapiro to a date while questioning his views on Israel were disparaging. So the company that prides itself on freedom of speech definitely has been showing that the past few weeks. And if this is like how they're going to be as a company, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, like, Ben Shapiro doesn't even debate Candace Owens at all, honestly.
Yes, I thought I would see Ben Shapiro debating Candace Owens. I didn't know what was going on behind those. I came across this recently and it shows that they secretly obtained a gag order placed on Candace Owens not to say anything pertaining to the Daily Wire because it might destroy their reputations. I don't know. I've seen reliable articles, putting out partaking to this. Though I've not seen a statement from these people, it is important we take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. When you take a look at this article, the Daily Wire secretly sought and obtained a gag order against Candace Owens while it publicly negotiated a debate between her and Ben Shapiro.
Can you at least talk to just sort of where it's at now?
She's free to do whatever she wants to do, to be wherever she wants to be. When it comes to the hosts on the Daily Wire, obviously, everyone is able to say what they want. Nobody ever comes to me and says, you can't say X. Nobody ever says that to Walsh, and no one ever said that to Candace. But the reality is that there is an Overton window at the Daily Wire. Obviously, there was a non-meeting of the minds. That's pretty much all I can say on this. Daily Wire has a very strong editorial position on a wide variety of issues. And by the way, I should say that, there are a lot of people who are suggesting this is about disagreements over Israel. I mean, I can safely say it is not about disagreements over Israel to the extent that, without reference to Candace at all here, Matt Walsh has taken the position that America ought not be involved in the Middle East at all. That's just a pure isolationist position. I disagree with it. I think it's wrong. I think that it's short-sighted. But again, he's on our platform. That is well within the range of acceptable discourse at the Daily Wire.
Yes, just to refresh your brain, this is Ben Shapiro going off on Tucker Carlson about people actually going contrary to this same thing.
Leave Tucker. And if you don't, it's probably because you're part of the conspiracy or the cover-up, because you're owned, because you become the establishment, because you're weak and you can be taken over by nefarious forces. The only man of courage in this routine is apparently the truth seeker Tucker, who asks questions but doesn't actually examine the evidence.
Yes, you might be thinking that is all. Take a look at these.
You blame society, you don't have an answer. So it must be a conspiracy. There must be some sort, and you're just asking questions. You don't know. Right? This is the game that is played by so many corrupt commentators, just asking questions. I don't have to show you evidence that something terrible is happening. I don't have to actually demonstrate how the thing is happening. I don't have to tell you who the problem is. Wink, wink. But I can just tell you right now that there is a problem. But even, and if I'm asked about it, hey, I'm just asking questions. Now, let me tell you something about just asking questions for a second. Just asking questions is a game for children. My son is 7. He can just ask questions. My daughter is 10. She can just ask questions. If you are 50 and you are just asking questions, I don't think you're just asking questions. I think that your level of curiosity is actually quite low. I think that you don't care enough to know or know enough to care. I think that the vast majority of people who are in the just asking questions business have an answer that they want to suggest, but they know there's no evidence for it, so instead they hide behind just asking questions. In other words, they're completely full of
I find it fascinating that many conservatives are now lambasting Tucker Carlson for asking certain hard questions about narratives we've been fed by the government. Do I agree with Tucker on all of his views? Of course not. I don't agree with anybody on 100% of their views. That would be a weird thing to do. But I also think it's a weird thing to do to lambast somebody for questioning certain narratives when in fact that's what it means to be a skeptical citizen of a truly democratic nation.
Yes, I never knew I would see these. These are people I used to watch before I even started creating YouTube videos, but seeing them at this time fighting on daily basis, I don't really get it. They have a common enemy to fight, but instead they are going back and forth on each other.
I think that every Jew throughout world history who has a brain and knows history has always wondered if a country that is not a Jewish state is going to eternally provide them security guarantees and full citizenship, of course. I mean, that's I think to think that that's why the existence of the state of Israel is the single greatest guarantor of my loyalty to the United States.
Well, you could say the same about the atomic bomb, right?
Yes, you could.
And you could say that we have to develop it like Oppenheimer felt before the Nazis did.
I love that. How'd that work? How'd that work?
Well,
I love, by the way, that people on my side, I'll just admit it, on the right, have spent the last 80 years defending dropping nuclear weapons on civilians. Like, are you joking?
right.
That's just like, I'm a fascia evil.
Yeah.
I believe you've seen. These are videos. I think I did few days ago. I decided to remind you who Ben Shapiro is. When you take a look at this article, they write Learning News and Commentary site Daily Wire obtained a gag order against former host Candace Owens despite co-founder Ben Shapiro claiming he wanted to publicly debate her and Israel and anti-Semitism. According to a report, the Daily Wire secretly sought to muzzle Owens through a private arbitrator after she left the company in March, wrote Pulitzer's. The gag order was approved as Shapiro and Daily Wire CEO Jenny Borrell were publicly negotiating with Owens on an agreed-upon venue, date, and time for a debate that had been widely anticipated by readers and viewers on social media. I myself, I was waiting to see what will come out of this because it is actually big. Borrell told Greenwood that his report is inaccurate to the point of being false. He did not elaborate. I'm sure you can appreciate how fraught a high-profile breakup like this is. For that reason, we are trying to resolve our issues with Candace privately. Borrell is quoted as telling Greenwood, okay, you see what is happening now? They don't like to actually come out clearly, but from the sources we are getting, this story is true. Owens told Greenwood she can neither confirm nor deny his report. That is Candace Owens, because the gag order actually does not allow her to say a lot. I wish I could comment on this, but I can't, she said. The post has sought comment from Daily Wire and Owens. We wish you know what is going on. Candace Owens should be able to speak up. It is high time people know what this are made up of, because at this level of gagging Candace Owens, I've been seeing this with Trump recently, blocking him not to speak.
How long has it been now?
August will be 1 year.